And they got to be able to trust you. Number 6, you got to be able to teach them on a high level. And what do I mean by this? When you're teaching, there's levels that you teach on. Like the level that I'm teaching on right now is a medium level. What do I mean by this? There are higher level principles above all of this stuff that I'm talking about that I'm not talking about in this training. Why? Because that's not what this training is designed for. This training is designed to get the amateur to the professional level and helping the professional increase by a few notches. But if you wanted to get into the high level trainings, because this can go deep. We can go deep into all of these topics. I mean, look at the last video. It was long, right? It's long, and we haven't even gotten into the meat and the potatoes of all of it. This is just the surface level of these things, right? So if you wanted to get close to me, let's say you paid me for me to be an individual coach to you so you can go into the high levels, then I would teach on the details like how to get your 12 into the 3, how to get your 3 to believe on you on a high level, how to get over a mistake when you make a mistake to your closest leaders, or how to get them to trust you again, how to rebuild your reputation. I mean, these things go deep. We can continue to go deep. These are higher level that you can teach on. So when you're teaching your team and your organization, you gotta have levels. You gotta have a lower level where you have people who might be just trying to get acquainted to the situation. It's just like if you went to a new job. When you went to a new job, they have that brief 1 or 2 week training, and that brief 1 or 2 week training is not telling you the entirety of the entire company in every detail, but it's giving you enough to get you moving. And then you start to have deeper level trainings and deeper level trainings until you get to the high level. When you're in the high level trainings, then you start to learn things, and we start to expect that you know some of the other things. It's like if you want to be good at calculus, you got to know basic math. So sometimes you got to teach the basic math, you got to teach the algebra, then you can get to that calculus. Calculus is like the higher level. You got to be able to teach your leaders on a higher level. For whatever organization you're on, you got to be able to teach in the basic math level, the algebra level, and the higher ed. If you can't teach on the higher ed, you're not even qualified to lead leaders. And I know that might be a shock, but if you can't teach on the higher levels, then you're not qualified to be a leader of leaders yet. Because you have to be able to give them something. You got to be able to add value to them in a way that they can appreciate, that they can understand, in a way that stretches them to become more. There's a chance that if you don't grow your ability to lead, and if you don't have the ability to teach on a higher level, what happens is the leaders who are underneath you, they start to get frustrated because they're not growing. Because at some point in time, if you're not teaching them on a higher level, then they can grow to a level that on the level that you're teaching them, even though you might have the ability to teach at a higher level, on the level that you're teaching them is not enough, so they leave the organization to find somebody that will help them grow. Look, we all have a desire to grow, to become more, and especially as a leader. So when you're leading leaders, you got to understand that yes, you teach the masses on a basic math level, and you teach the intermediates on a algebra level, but you got to get your higher leaders in there and get them some pre-calculus, some calculus, and some calculus 2, 3, and 4, right? The higher level math, engineering level math, right? You got to be able to teach on that level, or you're not even qualified to be in a professional level of leadership. So I hope you take that, because that's super important. So number 7, you got to be able to push them, and you got to be able to push them in ways that work for them. So many times you have leaders who try to push everybody the same way. Oh, I got an incentive on how you can, make an extra $100. So everybody go after this extra $100. Well, you want to have people in your organization that are not money motivated. Or you're going to have people in your family. Let's say you try to get your kids to do something like clean their room. You say, hey, here's $100. If you clean your room, I'll give you $100. And if you clean your room every week, I'll give you $100. Maybe the first week they might do it because you asked them. But after a while, if they're not money motivated, then they don't care, right? But maybe they are time motivated. Maybe you say, hey, kid, if you clean your room, I'll take you to the park and hang out with you all day. Now, if you're a father who's not around often because you work often and you're not able to spend as much time as you would like, or a mother who's in that same situation, they might say, yeah, I don't need $100. Just take me to the park. You got to be able to see who in your organization is where. Some people want time. Some people want money. Some people want recognition. Oh, men die for it. Babies cry for it. Recognition. People love that stuff. But you got to see who's where. I know I had people in my organization at one point that loved recognition. And then I had people in my organization that hated recognition. They didn't want you to talk about them. Don't talk about me in front of people. Please, I don't want to be recognized. But if you want to give me extra money, incentive, I'll take that. But I don't want to be recognized. So you got to figure out where your organization is, who is what, and then you motivate them with what they want, what their desires are. Remember, leadership is about being the servant, taking the time to say, hey, let me serve your needs. What are you looking for? What's important to you? How can I help you advance in whatever area you want to advance in? So it's so important that you take the time and you figure out what it takes to push them. But once you have it, once you know that hot button, then you start pressing that bad boy. Now you gotta take your time when you press it. So you can't press the hot button every day and expect that that hot button will continue to work. Because at some point, that hot button will be, okay, I get what you're trying to do, and I'm not interested. So you don't want to get that response. So you press the hot button, but you got to press it. See, this is higher level training. I can go deep when to press this hot button. But you got to press it at the right time. You got to know when to lay off. You got to know when enough is enough. You got to know when it's time to push on because it hasn't been done in a while. You got to just, and this is a dance. This is a dance that you'll get a chance to learn the more experience you get in pushing those buttons. But you got to know what button to push, and then you got to know when to push it. But it's important to know to push them. Number 8. You got to bring them into the family. When it comes to leading leaders, you got to bring them into the fold. I mean, you got to bring them in. And I'm not talking about bring them into the family in this superficial way. I'm really saying you got to bring them into the family. You got to know their kids. They've got to know your kids. You got to know their spouses. They got to know your spouses. You got to have dinner together. You got to break bread together. You got to hang out together. You got to build relationships together. You got to spend time, quality time. I mean, this is the opportunity for you to actually bring them into the fold of your life. Now, that seems like a lot, but if you want to lead leaders, it takes this. It takes your ability to take the time and connect with people on a higher level, to take the time to get them to buy in, not just to your vision, but who you are as a person. When people get a chance to know your kids and know your family and know people, they have no choice but to love you. You have no choice but to love them. And then you start operating in a way where you're caring about them more than you're caring about the success. You're caring about them more than you're caring about, trying to make things work right. You have the right mentality from the jump because you build a relationship. We tend to do more for people that we care about than people that we don't. And they have that old saying, the cliche, people don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care. But it's so true. People want to be involved in your life, especially when they look to you as a leader and you are the person that they look up to, so they can say, hey man, not only is this the person I look up to, but I get a chance to hang out with them. I get a chance to know their family. I get a chance to get embraced into their life. And that makes people want to follow you more. That makes people say, man, this is a genuine person. This is somebody who really cares. They don't just treat, and when you bring people in the inside, remember I talked about in the last video, I talked about character. When you bring people on the inside, they get a chance to see your character, and they see that your character lines up with your outside. What you do in your private lines up to what you do in your public. See, that's when people start to say, this is a guy I can work with. This is a woman that I can trust. This is a person that I can allow to lead me to my visions, my goals, and my dreams, and my aspirations. So important that you bring them into the family. Number 9, you gotta hold them accountable. And here's the thing. You just gotta do it. And a lot of people run away from this because it can bring some tension. It really can. You got to be the person that says, look, you said that you were going to do ... We didn't do it. What can we do to fix that? Now, there are certain ways that you can hold people accountable and the right ways to say the right things to the right person. Higher level training, right? But in general, you've got to be able to hold them accountable and say, have a conversation with them and let them know, like, look, we were counting on you to do ... You weren't able to do it. What happened? Why didn't it happen? What can I do better as a leader to step in and allow for that to happen? What can I do to help you increase the productivity of your team? What's going on here? I was expecting ... based off of what you said, but now it hasn't happened. What can we do? And you don't come at it in a negative way. You don't come at it attacking the person, but you come at it on the same level as a peer, and you sit down with them and you say, hey, what can we do to increase this productivity? What can we do? How can we figure this out? So you got to hold them accountable. Number 10. Once you do all of these things, you got to let them fly. You got to let them shine. You got to let them be. This is so hard for some leaders because they're scared. But you got to let the person, if the person is great, you got to let them be great. You got to let them shine. You got to let them stand in the spotlight. Because if they were born to be in the spotlight, if they were born to be great, you can't say, well, I want you to be great, but I want you to be great on my terms, which means I'm greater than you. Because sometimes you'll raise up leaders who will learn to become better than you ever was. And now that seems like a bad thing at first for some leaders who are arrogant or insecure or have an ego. But when you don't have an ego, think about it like your children. When you have your leaders, in my opinion, I look at them as my family members. And I say, if I care about this person like I care about my child, and my child's name is Nathaniel, if I care about Nathaniel and I wanted him to be great, wouldn't I want him to be better than I've ever been? Wouldn't I want him to set the bar in my household and my family? Wouldn't I want that if I cared about him? As a leader, you got to care about your people so much that you don't care if they achieve more than you. You don't care if they go further than you. You don't care if they do more than you. And I know for some people they're competitive, they have an ego, and it's so difficult to let go. But sometimes you got to be able to let go. You got to say, okay, I get it. I can't be number one at everything. I've got to allow my people to shine. I've got to allow. It's so funny. When you let people shine, then you shine. I heard it said that a candle loses nothing by lighting another candle. You can't be afraid to light another candle because it doesn't lose it. When you light that candle and it shines, then you can always say, and they can always say, and 90% of the time is them saying that this person lit my candle. If it wasn't for this person, I wouldn't be where I am today. And you'll have that testimony about you and your candle gets lit, even though you weren't the one who did the work. You get a chance to help somebody in the beginning stages or in the advanced stages, and they go to a height that's unprecedented, and you get a chance to sit back and be a proud family member, a proud dad, a proud aunt, a proud cousin, a proud, business associate, a proud partner. See, that's what caring is. That's what leadership is really about. Leadership, going back to this essence, is about caring about the people that you're leading. And if you care about the people that you're leading, you'll always be a great leader.